How can you get visibility for your business? How can you get high quality, empowered prospects to find you so that they know you exist and they know that you understand them and that you are for them above all? How can you get not just eyeballs, but the right eyeballs on you as an expert? That's what this video is all about. So, the number one question that I get asked by women in business is, Jude, how can I get more leads? And in love, I have to tell you, that's not the right question. And here's what I mean. First, more leads is not really what you want. What? You don't want more leads? That's right, because you want high quality leads, not just more leads, right? So I want you to think about this. Which is better? 10,000 people on your email list, 80% or more of whom are just looking for free content. They're never going to apply it because they're not really committed to the change they say they want. And on top of all that, that 80%, they're unlikely to buy. So the 10,000, 80% of which or more are not your best client, or would you prefer to have 1,000 of the people who are already succeeding to some degree? They are 1,000% committed to succeeding even more. And they are right now actively looking for an aligned expert like you to help them. Really, which would you prefer? Now, some of you might say, Judy, the math, I'd rather do the 10,000. But heck no, I don't need 8,000 people on a list of 10,000 that are uncommitted. And it could be more than that, right? So the right answer here is I would much rather have a lean 1,000 of people on my email list, followers, whatever the case, that are so committed and they're looking to solve a problem. Those 1,000 are who I call empowered buyers. So don't settle for more leads. Hold your standard high, sister. Demand high quality leads. Okay. Now, second, when you say, hey, how can I get more leads? What you're saying is, how can you find those empowered buyers? And I don't know about you, but that can really feel like you chasing people, you working overtime to get them, right? How can I get more leads? That just does not feel good. It's not in alignment with you as that expert that you are, as that leader that you are, and, really as that God-aligned, God-appointed expert and leader, right? So what if getting more of those high quality leads is not about you chasing or finding leads at all? It shouldn't be. In fact, I teach my clients it's not. Why? Because you are an expert. Please write this down. Experts do not chase leads, no matter what stage of business you're in. So the lead gen strategy for you as an expert is not to find clients, but rather for you to be in the right places, to be in the right rooms, to be in front of the right cameras and microphones. That is for you to be visible so that empowered buyers find you. Do you see the difference? Okay. At the end of the day, more high quality leads starts with you increasing your visibility. And today, I want to talk to you about powerful, leveraged ways to do exactly that. So if you don't know me, my name is Judy Weber. I am a kingdom disruptor. I'm a 20-year serial entrepreneur, former trial attorney and C-suite executive, now a master certified Christian business coach. And I'm on mission by God to normalize miraculous results for Christian women, helping you to scale businesses that change the world. Gosh, such a powerful mission. And I couldn't do it in my own strength. And neither can you, as you're an expert, right? That's why you're here watching me, because you want to learn from someone who is teaching business in a way where Jesus Christ is your CEO or is your chairman of the board. You're the CEO, but Jesus is your chairman of the board. You are the chief executive officer. You execute the plan that the Lord God drops to you. Okay, that's what we're all about here on this channel. So let's talk about how you can skyrocket your visibility. This is so important because you can create amazing things and you can offer amazing services. But if you can't get people to know about you, like you won't get very far because you won't have clients or not enough of them or not of the right ones. Okay. So, a most vital skill set as a business owner for you is to understand and create this skill set of visibility, to take actions to put you in front of your people, put you in front of your people. Who are your people? Your best clients, right? Now, there are countless ways for you to potentially gain visibility. And I'm not going to rattle them all off here. It's really innumerable, but they include social media, right? Whether you're posting on stories or lives. But we all know that unfortunately, the reality there is with the algorithm, you are likely being seen by a fraction of your following, maybe 1 to 3%. So let's do the math here a second. For every 100 followers you have, only 1 to 3 of them will see you. Okay. Let's really let that sink in for just a second, because you're working so hard with your content creation and you're putting it on social to get visible. It is great. It's a free platform, right? Not free with your time, but free with dollars. But 1 to 3% will see your posts. Not good. So stay tuned as I share with you a much better visibility strategy. But every day, my clients come to me and they say, I hate social media. I feel like it has to be on a hamster wheel of content creation to crickets. Would you agree with that? And also, it's just so frustrating for people because they are working hard and they feel like no matter what I say, no matter what I do, it's not working on social. So hear me, social media is not the end all be all. So if you really want to be social media optional, keep watching. Okay. What is another visibility strategy? Okay. Blogging and podcasting, right? I'm talking about your own podcast or your own blog. Now, this is great. And I love this because it is also a one-to-many approach, right? Where you can be found by many at a time. But when you are launching your own blog or have your own blog or your own podcast, it is a longer game. Why? Because you need to ramp up your community. You got to create your own community. Okay. So while I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, I would suggest that not be a primary focus. Okay. There's something better. A couple of other potential visibility strategies are networking, right? Attending industry events or participating in local networking organizations. That's more like a one-to-one. Unless you're on stage, which would be pretty hot, right? If you're the one speaking at an industry event. And another is writing a book. There's like so many different things, the marketing strategies that you're doing now, and so many more. But here's the point. Do the ways that I mentioned allow you to gain visibility at scale? Possibly, right? But everything I mentioned above, it is a slower way to go. They take time to develop, because they lack leverage. Write that down. Leverage. I'm going to talk to you now about leveraged visibility. What is leverage? Leverage is defined as using something to its maximum advantage. Another way to say it is achieving a greater result with less effort. What does that mean? Well, in the case of leverage visibility, it means getting you seen one to many when you show up once. And it is showing up for you in front of your right people while you're walking on the beach or while you're hanging out with family, okay? And so what I'm talking about is you showing up in one place at one time, and you're able to get seen, discovered, and ultimately found by dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of the right people, your people at one time. That, ladies, is leverage. It's getting seen by many at one time. That is truly taking advantage of an opportunity. So what is this number one visibility strategy, this one-to-many strategy that gets you in front of hundreds and even thousands with just one 30-minute activity? Okay, hang on. I'm going to reveal it in a second. By the way, this leverage visibility requires no travel or other expense at all. And it is the most productive and profitable collaborative visibility strategy, bar none. What is it? You may have heard it before, but I want to go deeper because I've had lots of women asking questions about it. And it is podcast guesting. podcast guesting. Now, there are keys to making this work. One of which is you got to get booked on the right shows. What makes a right show? Where your people are. So again, if you don't know clearly who your people are, no marketing you do is going to hit. Okay. But we've got to get you booked on the right shows. Then you've got to kill the interview, right? You've got to nail it. Okay. Now, key to this is having a powerful, potent, message. It is unique. You've got mic drop moments, and it is story driven. And finally, you need the right call to action. It is a high converting freebie. High converting, meaning tons of people, the right people are opting in, and it's high converting in the way of actually signing clients. Now, here's what can happen when you follow my ultimate podcast guesting protocol. Here's what can happen. Imagine you record 2 podcast episodes a month, and each one 30 minutes. So that's 60 minutes of effort on your part. Okay. Now, the average podcast has anywhere between 100 and 200 downloads in the first week. So let's be super conservative in this example and say there's 100 downloads just in the first week. And of those hundreds in each of those 2 podcasts that month, okay, conservatively, 10 will take you up on your call to action and actually download your freebie. And then if you follow the funnel, of those 10 who downloaded your freebie, 1 will enroll for your services. So question for you. Would you like to enroll at least 1 client a week passively? Because that's what we're talking about here. You captured what I'm saying to you. I want to pause and make sure you're getting what I'm dropping, okay? We're talking about you speaking boldly as a podcast guest. And that most powerful episode is heard by hundreds, even the first week it drops, and even more every week following, okay? You just wowed your people. And then because you did that, you blew their minds, you're building your email list with those who respond to your call to action, right? Who downloaded your freebie. And then as you sign clients, right, from those that downloaded the freebie, like when you set this up, it is literally a marketing and sales machine. And it's hands off, but for your interview, 60 minutes a month. Amazing, right? That is leveraged visibility. We're talking about filling your pipeline with empowered prospects who are activated to take that next step, to download your freebie, and then ultimately activated to sign on as clients. It can be that simple. And why I love podcast guesting is not only do you have the podcast that lives forever, unlike social posts, which disappear and the algorithm, actually working against you. We on podcast guesting, you can be found by SEO. Imagine once you have been on, as I have, like 50, 100 and more episodes of podcasts, type in your name and podcast, and all these different podcasts are going to come up. And so it can be that simple. But not just that, because so many podcast hosts, as I do, we're actually putting it here on YouTube too. So you can be found. That's what we're talking about here. Not you finding people, but you being found because you're being visible. You can be found not only on a podcast, on those platforms. How many are there? I don't even know. But also on YouTube. This makes you so super findable. And so that's why I love this leverage visibility strategy. So simple. It can be that simple for you. There is no need to overcomplicate things. Now, let's say you get booked on a top 50 podcast. That's different, okay? So you don't have 100 or 200 downloads in the first week. You have like 2,500 downloads in the first week, okay? So with that, do the math. Possibly from that one top 50 podcast that you were on, you will get 200 to 250 people downloading your freebie. And not just any old body, but you were in the right room. They are your people that listen. And so you're really building your email list almost effortlessly, right? And so from that podcast episode on a top 50 podcast, you have the potential to sign 20 to 25 new clients. Like that's the power of podcast guesting. Now, I want to troubleshoot for you. If you have guested on a podcast and you didn't get those kind of results, here's why. First, you were on the wrong shows. Your people didn't listen. Your people weren't there. Maybe that's why it didn't convert. Maybe this is another reason why. And this is a huge one. Your messaging was not specific enough. It sounded like everybody else, right? And so a couple ways this could be, but one, I want you to hear me on this, right? You may have spoken as an expert and gave lots of great information on these shows that you were a guest on, right? But you may have failed to show listeners, not just tell them, but to show them with your words and your stories how you're different than any other expert in your field. By the way, I would love to know in the comments below what makes you the best. And here I'm talking about you are the very best at what you do. Why you versus any of your competitors? And why, actually, as a practical matter, you don't have any competitors. Like, this is important. And you need to hear me, sister. This is not being arrogant. That's you being a great marketer. That's you being a true leader. That's you fully embracing your unique Christ identity. How are you different than everybody else? And that's you standing in your God anointing and God appointing. Okay. I'm telling you that identifying your differentiators is critical to higher conversions at every turn. So, what is your edge? What are your angles? And along with this, what is your approach to your work? That it all combines, right? How does the way you look at your industry differ than others? How does the way you do things go against convention? How does what you say matters like turn convention completely on its head and goes against the grain? In other words, it's like you saying, others say this is important and vital. And I say, that's garbage. It's that, right? So I'll give you an example because I really want to make this really land for you. For me, I would say, conventional business coaches say you need to learn sales scripts and a complicated sales call flow. I say, nail your messaging and you can eliminate 50% of your sales calls or more. And as far as sales scripts, throw them out in the garbage. Because when you know how to talk about what you do and how you do, and specifically how your clients' lives will be transformed after working with you, that messaging does the heavy lifting. And sales calls become less and less needed. And absolutely no script required. So you see how I was turning convention on its head. This is what I'm talking about. You have to drop mic drop moments in every one of your podcast episodes. Do you have a mic drop moment or message, right? One of mine is playing small is a sin. And it makes people stand up like, what did she just say? Yeah, playing small is not just being timid. It's a sin. And I talk about how that is. But the point here is, do you see how your messaging, when you have it tight, it is potent, it is concise, it is crystallized, right? Because you've thought about it. You've already identified your differentiators. And so your messaging calls out empowered buyers in a way that compels them to take action. They can't not take action, partly because your words are different than what other people are saying, but also because you paint a very vivid picture of possibility for them. They can see in their mind from the words you are saying how you're going to help them, even where they've tried so many other things and no one else has been able to help them in the past, right? And they see how your approach is unlike anything else they've heard. And as a result, their mind is blown and trust is established almost immediately. And they're excited to get started. Okay, so we just went through 2 reasons why other podcast guest spots you had may not have resulted in clients. 1 was you're on the wrong shows. 2 was that your messaging really was not dialed in, right? And the 3rd reason why your podcast guest appearance didn't produce clients is your freebie. Here we're talking about a high converting freebie that, again, moves people to action. And so the ones that do that, they compel people to move. This freebie can't just be regurgitation of a lot of information. Your freebie must provide transformation, okay? Specifically, transformation in how your clients think about their problem. So hear me on this. If you have a freebie right now and you are teaching, that's a problem. You think you're serving them, but you're not, okay? Because you need to show them, your best clients, these empowered buyers, you have to show them an entirely different approach to their problem. Or even better, an entirely different problem. Okay. Because you've got to say, there's a reason why you haven't been able to lose weight. You thought it was this, but really that has nothing to do with it. It's really about that. Okay. Do you have that right now? Do you approach your work so uniquely that it would blow people's minds to even hear about it? Okay. So you need to have that unique approach, and you have to show them that your solution is the quickest and simplest way to get them where they really want to go, right? And so here is an element of buyer psychology that's combined with your special juice, what I call your zhuzh. Any other Francophiles out there, right? What I call your zhuzh, and it really blows their mind. And the best news is infusing buyer psychology and your zhuzh into a freebie can be as easy as tying your shoes. I help my clients unlock that, right? I take you step by step through all of this inside my ultimate podcast guesting protocol. So there's nothing for you to figure out on your own. I'm with you every step of the way. Now, if you want to learn more about this most leveraged, highest converting visibility strategy, comment clients below, and I'm going to send you a brand new training that goes into more detail. Or you can get immediate access right now by visiting judyweber.co/mini course. judyweber.co/mini course. Get immediate access. All right. So as we wrap up, let's talk about visibility strategy number 2, which is really a subset of number 1, but I know that it's important enough that I wanted to single out. And this visibility strategy is simply this: be bold. Be bold in all you do, and in particular, bold messaging. Because listen to me, and you want to write it down. Bold is a strategy. Bold, when you are standing in your authority given by the Lord, and you are bold, that keeps you focused and on point. Bold as a strategy allows you to take intentional, proactive action. Okay. So you might say, okay, that sounds kind of cool, but what is bold messaging? Like, what does that even mean? Well, it's really what I've just talked about. It's having a unique message. I'm talking about a controversial position, taking an unconventional approach. It is stating a belief that turns how your people currently think, or even what they currently believe, on its head. And identify what all things point to, like all your people's problems are solved by this one thing. And I'm going to end it here. For me and my clients, whether you are in the earlier stage of business or you're established and you're looking to get from 6 or multi-6 figures to your first million, the answer to all your problems is words. It's messaging. Okay. For my mastermind clients, when it comes to words and messaging, that actually also includes your team. How are you communicating with your team? How are you showing them what success looks like? Right? So I'm talking about internal clients and external clients at the mastermind level. But across everybody, what I'm talking about messaging is, and words is across all the board, all levels of business. I will say this: you think you have a leads problem. Jude, I got bad leads. Or Jude, I don't have enough leads. But to me, the solution is not that you don't have the right leads. It's that you need more clear, potent messaging. Clear, meaning who are you talking to, right? And potent, meaning every word you say blows people's minds, right? And again, here, and I can get into the weeds here, and we're already over time, but I will share with you this. How do you blow people's minds? 2 ways. First, being unconventional. Like nobody else ever said that. I never heard that I can lose weight if I eat more of something, more candy. Imagine if some weight loss coach out there said, you know what, you're going to lose more weight when you eat dark chocolate every day. I'm signing up. Anybody else? Right? So blow people's minds by being unconventional. And the other way you blow people's minds is being experiential. And that leaves your best clients to say, like, she's inside my head. How does she know me so well? Okay. So here's the deal, and why this is so important in the way of bold messaging. When you speak to your person, your best client, these empowered buyers in this way, you literally shrink the buying cycle to just days. You see, the know, like, trust factor is dead. And why I say that is the know, like, trust factor it assumes a long, drawn out, months or maybe years long nurture. But you see, I've created what I call the see, want, need effect. Okay. Which is you are so potent in your message and your messaging that when your people hear you or see you, they want it, right? They see you, they find you, you're in the right rooms. Hello, podcast guesting, leverage visibility. They see you and they want to learn more about what you got because you're blowing their mind, right? What we just talked about. And the more they look into you, the more the want turns into a need. The see, want, need effect literally collapses time so that you do not have to. I don't care what your price point is. I don't care if it's $20,000, $50,000. You are so on point to them and what they need, those empowered buyers, that when they discover you, they're like, where has she been all my life? And they sign very, very quickly. So, all right. I hope this has been helpful. I come at you every week with 2 episodes. So if you are not yet subscribed, go ahead and do that so you don't miss it, and click the notification bell because they usually drop on Tuesdays and Fridays and you don't want to miss anything. Now, if you have questions about visibility or lead gen, go ahead and pop them in the comments below. I love to respond to you personally. But that is it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.